introduction.
were insured, I would remove the electronics and hide them, and then claim them all on the insurance anyway, and then sell.
Wow.
That's fine.
Yeah, no. Hope you're not lying.
My house is
Because
burned
we
down.
are.
Why not?
My master plan is rumble.
Is it? This might be a really dumb question. Do firefighters sift through the ashes to determine, or
No.
who are the professionals that do that?
Well, it's only if it's like arson. So they do check if it's arson, but if it's not arson, then they don't check to make sure you're not lying about possessions within reason. Your insurance company can dispute things. If you go, you've got the possession, they can go, well, have you got proof of ownership? But generally, for small items, they just let it go.
And we're live.
Yeah.
Because I remember, yeah.
I like how
hello,
Dan
everyone.
knows all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, he's been researching since he decided to potentially hatch this plan just in case. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pixel Pints. We are a couple of guys, more than a couple today, that like to talk about beer and games, and like to talk about beer and games. This sucks. Usually in that order. We are not here to promote drinking, so please drink responsibly. And we are not sponsored by any beers or breweries we discuss on the show. But in order to get Matt a lovely new laptop, don't know why we need to do that anymore because he rebuilt his PC.
I did.
But we would, anyways, this is a really old copy, would openly accept any and all offers from beloved beer makers around the world. Dilly dilly is what it says on here.
Dilly dilly.
That's
Keith
really
is
old
gonna hate
copy.
that.
I think that
That is old copy, yeah.
must be from
Very
when
British of him.
when we first.
And I have a special announcement because, and this is also for Keith, and I feel sorry for him. Maybe it's because of that, but now that we're live, we can officially state that we broke the curse of the birthday episodes.
True.
Because today is my birthday.
Oh, damn it, Rafa.
I hate to break it to you, but the curse was lifted last week.
It
My
was.
birthday.
Because
Oh, it
Liam's
was.
birthday last
Oh.
week.
That's true, yeah.
None of us got too drunk.
And then I was feeling guilty that I broke Keith's back. Like, of course he broke his back. It's my birthday.
Yeah, I think you recursed us, Rafa. I think Liam lifted it. It lasted a week, and now you cursed Keith with a bad back.
Is this how this works? Do you? Just lit
Talking
a
about
match.
fires, and you're going to cause one in a minute.
Yeah.
Let me turn this on.
Oh, that's how they do it in my country when you die.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right. None of this shit. Coming up on this episode, we're going to talk about the Game Awards nominations, our thoughts on some of the categories. We'll probably get into a longer discussion about the big one, the Game of the Year, because I think a lot of people have some strong opinions, obviously, being a gaming podcast. But first, let's get into some beers. Who has a beer?
Is it just you and I? Because everybody in
Probably.
England is. Well, Joey might have one.
Got a Heineken, a few Heinekens.
Yeah, you do with that one.
So
That's great.
Yeah, I've
Wow.
I had
got.
my coffee. I'll get into that.
I've got the Miller Lite.
There we go.
A staple.
Mainstream beers.
Yeah, a staple of American domestics.
Does anyone want to do a short review on their Miller Lite or their Heineken, or are we good?
No, I think we're good.
I've not opened
Okay.
it yet, but when I do, you'll know about it.
Looking forward to it.
Mm.
All right. I actually have a beer today. I've never seen it before. This is so I had to look this up.
Oh,
Pike, the Pike Brewing Company is in Seattle, and this is called the Pike Nagoya Ale. So they put the
Weird.
city of Nagoya and ale into one word. I believe that's called a portmanteau. No, that's slightly different. But anyways, it looks like it's brewed and packaged for Pike Brewing, restaurant and craft beer bar, Nagoya, Japan, by the Pike Brewing Company, Seattle, Washington, USA. And it has a little, almost like a sister city feel of Mount Fuji and its height in
Cool.
feet and meters, and on the other side, Mount Rainier in Seattle, Washington. So it's I always actually have liked this font type with the bold shadow at an angle there. Yeah, I don't really know. This is a weird one. I don't really know the connection really between Nagoya and Pike Brewing. Really, apparently they have a brewery restaurant in Nagoya. But anyways, this is a 6% IPA. Smells really, really good. Really, really floral. It's just got this like really juicy, hoppy smell to it.
I like
It
the
pours
color.
like an
I like the
amber.
color.
Yeah, it's a solid color. Slightly hazy. Not a lot of carbonation. Kind of the bubbles aren't very uniform, which is good. Yeah, that smells really good.
Looks
Yeah, that is a solid IPA. It's got that crisp bite, and then that bitterness just kind of sits on your tongue, and it's just going to build with every sip. So yeah, this
Nice.
is
Is that like a really
really
small glass, Evan?
yeah, this is
Or
a
is
half.
your hand like really big? So I was just thinking, like, you've either got the most giantest hands, or it's a small glass.
You realize, Dan, we've done 23 episodes of the Pixel Pints podcast, and God knows how many episodes of Beer Umbrate.
Yeah.
And that's the first one I've noticed.
This is the first time you've noticed Evan's giant
I always
hands.
drink out of this glass. This is a proper Guinness pint glass, and this is a half pint glass.
Yeah,
and I
okay.
like it because I can keep half the beer in the can. And then yeah, so this is I don't know if you guys know your cans very well. This is a Nonic pint. So the more common glass that you see at bars
I've got,
is the shaker pint.
Yeah,
Oh, you got
the
a
shaker.
Nonic pint.
Yeah, I've got a
that
regular size Nonic.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
The shaker pint. These are not made for beer. These are made for shaking cocktails. But they're easy to stack and they don't break very easily, so that's why they're used in bars. This would be a proper glass to use, and I believe it's called a
Or one
Nonic
with a
pint
handle.
because the glass
It's a real-
doesn't nick
should
as
come in.
Yeah,
easily.
or a mug.
Or
a
what's
mug.
it called?
English dimpled pint glass. Most likely, I don't know.
Tankard.
Tankard, yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
A tankard. That's what I was trying to think of the word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a really solid beer. It's my first beer of the day, and it's a great way to start it off with a 6% Nagoya
Nice.
Ale IPA. All right, we don't have any housekeeping or anything to do, right?
Don't think so.
We usually don't. We just kind of jump into it.
Okay.
How are
right.
you, Taps?
Oh yeah, that's right.
All good, mate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to ask people what's going on. Oh no, this is a libertarian episode. We manage ourselves. Dan, go ahead. I am not the host of this show. We are all the hosts of this show.
Yeah.
Let's just kind
How are
of
you?
see.
Nice to see you, Joey. I'm glad you could join us. It is funny how you appear when Keith isn't here.
By design.
You almost maybe Keith's alter ego, but he'd be
It
really
may be
upset
the
if I
same
said
person.
that.
We might live together. You don't know. Only one of us can jump on the laptop to do the recording. But no, I'm all
That would be
good.
a very interesting sitcom.
How's everything going with your podcast? Did
Yep.
you feel everything going well?
All good. All good. Winding down for the year. Just gonna get in the last few episodes. We've got a Hall of Fame episode to do for this year for 2020. The quiz, fantasy gaming results, which will happen after the 10th of December. And then whatever we've been playing. So we're actually running out of weeks to fill all the content we've got planned. So some of it might come next year in terms of like game impressions and whatnot. But it's suddenly got busy in the last couple of weeks, as I'm sure it has for many people that have kind of dived on the new consoles or just playing all the games that have been coming out. But all good, thank you.
Good. What about you, Rafa? How's your last 2 weeks been with your 2 new consoles? Have been good?
Yeah, that it was a blast. It's the first time when I get 2 consoles at once, so I need to divide my spare time between both of them to make the most out of them. But yeah, they are really fast. It's something new and fresh. But yeah, I'm good. I'm great. It's a great time to be alive. Thank you.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Liam?
and all of the bug snacks that you can possibly find on your birthday.
Yeah. How are you, Liam? You good?
I am fantastic. Actually, I feel sort of the same as Rafa. I haven't felt this good in a while. Just having the new hardware sitting over there, I just feel good. No more waiting. I can just relax. I don't have to go back to work until Tuesday.
Yes.
I'm feeling
Nice.
great. Yeah.
Awesome. Evan, you enjoying your beer? How's Japan?
Yeah, Japan's all right. I'm getting dragged to a hotel later for some reason, but yeah. Hey,
Well, it could
don't
be
laugh.
fun.
No laughing in this house. Yeah, I'm fine.
Matt, how's the weather in Las Vegas? And how are you?
The weather is as soon as my phone pops up. 16
The
C.
weather segment of the episode.
16 degrees. See,
Yeah.
nice.
We'll probably go down to about 11
Okay.
tonight, but I'm doing well. And I've been thinking about this all day because I've got this crazy story to tell you guys. So my wife loves police procedurals. Okay, so she watches a lot of NCIS and Criminal Minds and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So we had watched a few episodes of that the other night, and I had a dream where I was in one of those scenes where they catch the bad guy. But I realized that I was the cops that aren't the main characters of the story. And we had to do the cleanup after they had already taken away the main bad guy. And I was like, this is fucking horrible. And I woke up with this deep existential dread that I was an NPC, and I was like, holy shit, I might be an NPC in real life.
Wow. Like the cameras have moved on,
Yeah.
but you're still left here.
Yeah.
Secondary.
Do you exist when the
Yeah.
camera is not on you? Do you exist as a
I don't
human
know.
being?
So I chopped my beard off.
Wow.
And that's where we're at today.
And that's why.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And how are you?
Oh, that's right. You gotta ask.
Got
them.
a-
Oh,
Dan.
thanks very much. Yeah, I'm good. I'm quite sleep deprived right now.
I can
thought
see
I
your
might
beautiful
miss-
new arrival in the background, and I mean the
Yeah,
PlayStation,
there's
obviously.
Yeah, the PlayStation and my baby, both really. I said it was the greatest day of my life, and then I quickly backtracked and said, actually, the third greatest day. The first, our marriage. The second, the birth of my child.
You got to
and
be
the
very careful with
third,
that
getting
statement.
a console on launch day. But no, I was quite worried about Amazon, but they did come through, and I did get one. But it was painful seeing everyone else get it, and I was like, "Is it going to arrive?" Being in the Shire, but it did, so it was fine. And then I had to go for an hour-long walk, so it just had to sit there in the box while I stared at it from afar. But it was fine.
Painful.
But no, yeah, all good. Just a bit sleep deprived. Back at work on Monday after my 2 weeks with the baby, and yeah, looking forward to Christmas now and playing some good PlayStation 5 games.
Yep.
Before we start getting into these Game Awards 2020 nominees, as 1/6 of the co-op co-hosting person today, two things I think we could all agree on. One, don't cut off Liam too much. And two, if you get cut off, please, let's all try to not say, I was just going to say. I hear it so much on podcasts. It's really hard not to do, actually, but of course you were just going to say something. Just say it.
I
just
was
wanna
just
try
going
and
to
I
say,
do that a lot.
I was just going to say that I just say that quite a few times
It's
myself.
really hard. It's as hard as almost, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Or saying
everyone
like.
does. But as a little like if that's a hard one as well.
There you go.
But if we can get around that, let's try
So-
this. I'm going to try.
Do we want to start
think
category by category or overview, or
Yeah,
like
what
what do we want to?
Yeah.
wanna do
So
this?
I've got
The big ones?
I've got all the categories pulled up. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
got the homepage pulled up.
I don't know what you guys care about.
I don't care about esports unless any of you do.
That's the most
No.
important. How can you not?
I mean, honestly, if we want to just do that real quick, I think Valorant should probably win that category this year. Just how much it's taken both CS:GO and Overwatch and combined both of those, and it's getting a lot of traction.
Have you been playing any Valorant, Matt? Because I've actually
yeah.
spent a bit of time playing it.
I haven't.
Last month or so.
Riot's anti-cheat will
No, I haven't played much.
not allow it to run in Linux. So yeah,
that sucks. It's pretty good. It's not. I don't particularly play too much multiplayer stuff. Like once a week tops, and we've been playing it as a group, and it's quite, for someone who's quite casual in that space. It's actually quite engaging. Like it doesn't throw you under the bus like some of these hardcore multiplayer games do. So I would second a vote for Valorant in the esports department. Not that I'm any sort of connoisseur.
I've got no opinion.
Yeah. Community support, no.
Next
VR, no. Accessibility, I mean, it's an important one, but I don't really have that much.
What about just general multiplayer? The multiplayer category, which was Fall Guys, Warzone, New Horizons, Animal Crossing, Among Us, or Valorant.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way. You guys can have a go.
Freaking hilarious because I'm sorry, I'm just in down category, but I'm sorry, like this is dumb. Multiplayer and Animal Crossing, like, come the fuck off.
Hey, it's the Bell. It was the Bell conspiracy, isn't it? It's the underground Bell conspiracy that Raph was part of. The Bell Mafia.
I mean, the multiplayer in Fall Guys as well is kind of laughable to me. Because the lobbies barely fucking work. Like,
are they
I would
bad
just
now?
nominate games with actual good multiplayer design.
I don't know. I think I jumped into Fall Guys the other week and it worked fine. I didn't have an issue with it.
It works fine.
Yeah.
It's very feature like. It could.
But I think what it is, but what I think they're looking at hit sensations. So like Fall Guys was massive, maybe for a month or two, but it was when it first came out. And I can see why. That's why Among Us is also on the list. I played that on my phone for the first time with my family like 2 nights ago,
and really well done.
And actually, because I can see that winning really, because the others are all. I was like, wow, I was quite impressed how easy it was to get the hang of and do remotely.
Didn't that game come out in 2018? Why is it on a 2020 list?
Does anyone care about that?
Because it blew up. In the 15 to 22 age group category this year during lockdown, everyone is playing Among Us.
Well,
if a game from 2018 can get nominated, that means Blasphemous, which also came out in 2018, should be nominated for Game of the Year 2020.
No, I think
what you're saying is due to multiplayer engagement.
Well, I think part of it is I don't think that it was officially released 1.0 version in 2018. I think it was like an early access thing. So,
all right, well,
yeah, I would actually
this year.
I would second Among Us just because my wife, my nieces and nephews, my sister-in-laws, both of them are playing it. Like
everyone's playing.
AOC streamed it. Like this is just fucking crazy. How just how much attention that game's gotten this year.
Are we voting for it because it's popular, it's exploded, or are we voting because it's good? I guess
it's really good.
Sometimes those things go hand in hand. Okay.
No,
I haven't played it. So
I played it. I played about 15 games with my family last night or 2 nights ago, and I was surprised how fun it was. Actually, it was like playing a board game, like The Wolf Among Us or like Secret Hitler or one of those games, but being able to do it online, and also like actually have something to do rather than just like chatting. So it's good. It's good fun. I'm gonna let my dog out.
It's also the most accessible of all of them.
Yeah, you can play it on pretty much anything.
That helps.
Yeah, it's free to download on your phone.
Yeah.
So are we giving
straight in
on your phone? You can it's available on more platforms than the other games.
Yeah.
Does
it work on Linux?
So
yes, it does.
I never played it, but I know what makes it special.
Sure.
All
right.
How did
multiplayer game of 2020 Among Us?
Oh, actually, we're going. Yeah, I get it now. Or are we taking it from bottom to the top, or what are we doing?
Yeah, I think for the most part, the
Yeah,
ones at the
because,
bottom of the
Because
categories. That,
there's another section then, just
jeez.
underneath the content creator of the year, best debut game.
Oh
Is
yeah,
it?
that's a good one.
Oh,
Yeah, like you've got the
haven't got
content
those.
creator of the year, then the best debut game, and then it stops and it starts all the esports thing. So
Do you
yeah.
want? Do you mean debut indie game?
So we've got Carrion, Mortal Shell, Raji, an ancient epic, Rocky, and Phasmophobia.
I've only played Carrion. Um,
yeah, that's
How
the
is it,
only one
Liam?
I've played.
it's okay. I thought it was a little bit over designed, but it's certainly visually fun to play.
Yeah, the trailers make it look a lot more fun than it actually is.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
a perfect way to describe it.
Did you play on controller, either of you two? Because I played mouse and keyboard, and it was difficult sometimes to manage on that. But I can imagine on a controller it'd be even more trickier.
It's the controls could use some tweaking, for sure.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things about Mortal Shell and
Yeah.
Phasmophobia though. Like
talked
Phasmophobia is
about it
like
a lot
a
on-
horror game you can play with your friends,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
Mortal Shell's like a Dark Souls clone, but a really good one from what I've heard.
I like the look of the main character. That kind of this, like, thinned out, like white. It's basically the shell of a person. It's just like this alien covenant or engineer white, just
Yeah.
shell of a person. It's just very it's a very interesting design for a character.
Yeah, I might pick it up in a sale like next year.
All right, so the debut indie 2020 game goes to Raji, an epic ancient epic.
By default.
Oh,
It's an interesting game. It's an interesting
It looked
game.
cool. I just heard like once it looks cooler than it plays is what I've heard.
I haven't had a chance to play it, so
Yeah,
I can't really speak.
I mean,
I
you
mean,
can see
neither.
it's not, it didn't have too big of a budget, but
Right,
it looks-
right. I'm cool. I'm fine with that.
also, does anybody even know who any of these people are for content creator of the year, other than
No, I
Alana
don't
Pierce?
even care.
I don't even. I refuse to talk about content creator on this show. I refuse.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
well, you don't have to, but we will.
You know why?
yeah.
You know why I refuse to talk about it? Because we should be on the list,
We should be.
Yeah.
and we're not. So there we go.
You got a word.
No, the one thing I will say is I feel like Alana Pierce should be disqualified because she's now working for Santa Monica, Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
point.
That's
I thought I personally don't feel comfortable about a person who was the games journalist being on that list. Like, I
Okay.
feel like there should be a distinguishment.
So-
You know, it feels a
Yeah.
bit too much like, oh, buddy, I'm gonna prop my friend up for this award, kind of shit. I
Right.
mean, who the fuck are all of these people? Nobody's ever heard of them. Like,
No.
Well, Tim the Tap
So-
Man has done.
Oh, I've heard of Tim the Tapman and Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
I
done
mean-
some commentating on different esports stuff.
So
Is
here's
she
the-
joining the studio to write on Ragnarok, or what is she doing?
I have no idea.
Alana, I don't know.
I mean,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
like no disrespect, because I don't know, maybe she's really good at it or something. But
I imagine
Wow.
she's working on the second project that's going on with that studio.
okay,
Because that project's in relatively early development compared to God of War, which is already finished writing. all those
Yeah, you'd
things.
hope Ragnarok is quite far along. That
Yeah.
She's not
Corey's
being
not
pulled in to
saying
finish
anything
that.
about the game. He's radio silent about
Well,
it, and
um,
it fits the idea that because he's not saying anything about it, because he's been so vocal about the first game, in the past. Like I still believe Ragnarok is not like a proper sequel. It's going to be like an
Like
expandable.
Like Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Because
Ragnarok is a proper sequel, yeah.
Hopefully, that would be
No,
great.
It definitely
Doesn't
is.
sound like one.
Just quickly on the
I mean,
content creator
Ragnarok
side.
was the cliffhanger that was left over from the last game. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just quickly on the content creator side, I've gone on Wikipedia. Out of the 5, only 3 of them have got a Wikipedia page. So
The other two discounted on that alone.
they're
isn't it?
disqualified. So Lana and Jan Lopez are disqualified in my view. It's down to Nick Metrics, Tim the
Lena doesn't
Tatman.
have a Wikipedia page.
No,
I think
well,
I think I'd
actually,
vote on Tim the Tatman because I like the
I
name.
like the name as well.
I like
Alright.
the beard.
I don't anything about his content, but I think that's who I'd give it
All right,
to.
and the 2020 Content Creator of the Year award goes to Tim the Tatman Taylor.
I
Right.
just wanted to say something interesting I heard about Santa Monica Studio is that apparently there's some discussions about Starfield because Microsoft wanted to put that game out on the PlayStation 5, but they're having to reconsider because apparently Sony are making a game that's rather similar to it at Santa
Interesting.
Monica Studio.
Ooh,
They're
it's
apparently
Santa
making a
Monica, wow.
space-based RPG. And that's why I guess they would need lots of writing talent to design quests and things like that.
I'm calling it right now just because Keith is not on the show. It's going to be Colony Wars, damn it. They're bringing it
Oh.
back.
Dude, and it's exclusive to PlayStation. The very next day, we see a fucking PlayStation 5 right behind Burkhoff on the stream.
You would, yeah, you would. Suddenly, just
All right.
500 magical dollars appear in my bank
Yeah.
account.
Disappeared in
I
you.
don't know
Yeah,
where.
exactly.
What do we want to tackle next?
Sports
Game,
slash
sports,
racing?
and racing.
Yeah, sports and racing.
All right, the only thing I'll just get this out of the way. I vote for Tony Hawk because I don't like racing games and I don't play sports games, and I still haven't played this Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, and I need to because those 2 games came out when I was a massive skater. I was decked out in $100 DC Chad Muska shoes. I had
Nice.
yeah, I was all about it. So yeah, this is a game that I still need to play, and I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Evan,
That's my.
it's so great. You have
Is
to
it?
play it. Yes.
I
I was
need to
playing
play
it
it.
yesterday.
Yeah.
It's such a good blend of like nostalgia and modern. It brings it right up to speed with 2020. You'll love it.
They saw
Looks
Tony Hawk
fantastic,
5
too.
and they're like, we can't go back. We gotta
I
shut it all down, just to destroy the building and rebuild from the bottom up. And it looks like they did just that. Yeah, it does. Liam, you're right. It does looks great. I saw a lot of the videos like I don't know what year it was, like then and now, and it was showing him like go down, and then when he crashed through the wall, it changed to the remasters, and yeah, looks great.
I went with the same thing because everything else was not like nothing. Nothing from this list had the same reception as this game, so it was really well received and a welcome surprise. You can see a ton of passion was put into it, whereas most of the other games are like annual series that don't do much.
Yeah.
What I would say is
Like iterative.
F1 2020. I thoroughly enjoyed, and I've got 3 or 4 friends who've got leagues. That's quite cool. So there's like 15 of them that basically all have different cars and race the F1 live together. That's quite a cool feature, which I think kind of wasn't in previous, or maybe it was. But but I would say on that list, I would think you're probably right with Tony Hawk Pro Skater. It probably does deserve to win out of those. But that would be the only other one that I thought was quite interesting, and I haven't played an F1 game for a few years, so it was quite nice to jump in.
It should win just on the basis that it should be like Activision. More of this.
I'm
More of this.
I'm so torn on this because, for all intents and purposes, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is the exact same games as the PlayStation versions, just with updated graphics, right?
They've changed a bit of it. They've brought the revert and the manuals in 2 and 3.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand they brought 3's mechanics back to 1 and shit like that. But I mean, they're basically the exact same games with better visuals.
It's
which is the
pretty
way,
much in
which
line
is
with the other remakes.
which
they've
is the
done.
way I feel like a remake should be. If
Right.
you're gonna do it, that's the way it should be done. And then the other games, like everybody else mentioned, are just sort of iterative versions. Like, I've played F1 2019, 2018, 2015. If you go back to 2015, I don't feel like it's any different, really. There's no Halo, thank God. But
right, yeah. How the fuck did they see around that thing?
I have no idea. It's very difficult, but
Crazy.
yeah, the only one that I haven't done any research or played much of is Dirt 5. I don't know if anybody
I think
here...
Erebus Jones might have tossed his vote in for Dirt 5. I know he's a bit of a racing. He plays, at least from what I remember, he plays a couple racing franchises on the Xbox. So maybe he would have been for that. I don't know.
But I guess I'll throw my vote in for Tony Hawk, just to go with you guys.
Passing the baby off. I saw that.
Pass the baby for good luck.
I will say, it's very tangentially related. I'm not an F1 fan per se, but I've been to the Suzuka circuit 3 times, and it's amazing to see it live.
All right, Matt? What did you say? That the F1 game?
No, I'll go with Tony Hawk as my pick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Me too. I was just wanted to mention the F1 2020 because it's the first time I've heard loads of people I know are playing it who I wouldn't have normally suspected to be playing it.
Yeah, but
in like social leagues and stuff.
It's just so incremental. It's really hard to recommend it if you're not a fan.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's actually my favorite racing game franchise because I don't really like Forza or Gran Turismo. I like the motorsport aspect of racing games, and F1 throughout the years, which is why I've had it sort of every other year. I try and get it, so you feel like you get some sort of incremental update after a couple of years. But they've done a really good job of that license. I'm a bit concerned that they've been bought out and what that means for it going forwards. Hopefully, it doesn't disrupt next year's game. But it's built a nice, decent franchise.
That is a good point. Like the next version could have it could have the microtransactions of NBA 2K.
Oh
man.
Yeah, no, that's the issue.
No, please no.
And all those lovely F1 cars are gonna look like fucking NASCARs.
They already have
like
cosmetic microtransactions that you can buy, and I think that's what Activision saw, and they was like, "Oh, money! Let's buy those."
You know what?
2K, sorry.
2K.
If you can design your own team from the ground up, that might be. I don't know if I'd spend any money on it, but that might be actually worth it.
You put
do that in 2020.
If I could design my own driver, this fucking game of the year, man. Game of the year.
If I could design build my own engine in the game, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Get my constructor's trophy the real way.
You can build your own team in 2020, Matt.
But I mean, can you choose the name and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Oh
you
wow,
that's what they're doing on these leagues.
You can sign like Mick Schumacher as like your co-driver, like on the other side of the team.
All right, I switched my choice. We're going with F1 2020 this year.
All right. Did they bring elements from the management simulator, like inside the racing game?
There is some management stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. I enjoy it.
You say that, and Erebus Jones would throw his vote in for anything that's like fucking. Whatever the
Xbox game,
spreadsheet the
football, game. No, that football manager simulator.
Game. If it's spreadsheet the game, he's down.
You add that to an F1 game, he'd put. Okay, so all right, so the sports racing game of 2020 is Lewis Hamilton's Pro Skaters 1 and 2. All right, what's the next category? Anyone wants to? Is
action and adventure.
Best sim and
action adventure.
Yeah, there's best sim strategy. I don't know.
Oh, best sim strategy.
If anybody's played any of these games, Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3.
Oh yeah, I played that.
Well, I feel like there's like only 2 games that should really be in contention for this award, and it's Crusader.
What's on the list? Because I have the list here.
Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and XCOM Chimera Squad.
So I've played 4 of the 5 games.
Oh wow!
Oh, you have.
Yes.
So you're a sim strat guy. I didn't know that.
Here we go.
Oh, I love real time strat. So I would say Crusader Kings 3. You've got to be the hardcore of the hardcore to like that game.
Okay.
I enjoy it, but like it's a grind and a half, and you like make one wrong move, marrying the wrong person, and your whole dynasty falls to shreds in front of you. But for actual gameplay and enjoyment, probably Gears Tactics, to be honest. Chimera Squad was good, but I just felt it wasn't a full XCOM game.
Yeah, and
So
it
was good
wasn't trying
jump
to
back
be,
in
right?
the XCOM world.
It wasn't
It
trying
was good to be
right?
back in the XCOM world, but I know it wasn't trying to be. But I probably would have won if it had been a full-fledged game, if that makes sense.
What about
But I did for Xbox's first attempt at that genre. I'd probably give it to them. I haven't played. Actually, I don't think I've played Ghost 3.
What about Flight Simulator? Everyone was talking about that for months.
I've watched one of my friends playing that quite a bit, and it's pretty fantastic. Like since it came out, like my friends are still playing it. Like after like all of these months, and it gets on my nerves because whenever they're playing it, it means we don't play Warzone.
Yeah, I've played a bit of Flight Sim, but it melts
Flight Sim's
this PC. It's really a demanding game to play on PC to play it decently. And if you look at that list of what is it, 5?
But isn't Flight Sim, hasn't it got like loads of microtransactions to get all the airports in high fidelity? So that's why it's like the actual game is not a full game anyway, because you have to like keep on adding.
I can find my house.
You can have enough fun with all of the base content because at the end of the day, it's actually more of a service than a video game.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. You can find your house.
Yeah, it's the most accurate flight simulation like the money can buy essentially.
It looks like a fucking mansion in Flight Sim under this, not this tiny little dwelling I'm living in now.
That's why it gets your vote. It turns your house into a mansion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I find that a weird categy though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
In a category where all the rest are like real-time strategies. I don't really find that, landing and taking up a plane. I suppose it is real-time, but most of the time people put it on autopilot anyway.
It's like if they put those two
categories
take off together,
and land.
It's like Farm Simulator. It's like, damn, my chances are gone.
I think they probably probably smashed.
Poor Farm Simulator 2000.
I think they probably smashed both those categories together because Microsoft Flight Sim was in its own category this year, but it did well enough and got enough hype behind it that it was worthy of some notoriety, right?
Okay, I got it. So looks like Dan is going for Gear Tactics, maybe everyone else for Flight Simulator. I think hands down at the Game Awards because of I don't care about any of this stuff, but the only thing I've heard time and time again on podcasts is Flight Simulator. That has to be winning the award, right?
Yeah,
it probably will win.
I've heard good things about Gear Tactics.
Sadly, though.
Yeah, so like I see where you're coming from.
And actually, for people who like those kind of games, Crusader Kings 3 is a very good game. I'm just saying it's very niche because not everyone has got the patience to be building a dynasty for hours and hours and hours that then can be undone by one marriage, which is.
But
I do like doing that.
Even
the
though
award goes to. Go ahead, Rafa.
Even though in practice it doesn't sound like a great game to stream, tons of people stream it. It was the.
It's like chill wave, man. Just relax.
Go to this place. Let's go to that place.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by what Dan said that you actually have to buy airports, which.
So I think the way it works is that they're there, but they're not as. They don't look as good as they could be. They don't have.
They're
all
basically
the bells
not
and
the real
whistles.
airport.
Yeah,
it's basically just a shell. It's a runway with a shell, and then if you want the actual airport representation, you have to pay extra.
If you're an
But not
airport
always. It's
connoisseur,
just only for
you'll
certain
be
ones.
But the thing is that all the airports that are there, they still look pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
they're
they
not,
do.
like,
They do.
super detailed like some of them are.
I'm not voting for Flight Sim. They haven't got Southend's Pier on there. Bin it.
Ouch. All right, we got
Longest pier in the
let's move
world.
on. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Best family game.
Best family
Sim / strategy game of the year. Flight Simulator Mansion Upgrade Sim. Was Microsoft 2020. All right, what's the next category?
Best family game.
Family.
Yeah.
Family game.
Animal
All right.
Crossing.
I should read it out for the viewers.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, Fall Guys, Mario Kart Live, Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario: The Origami King.
And the award goes to Animal Crossing. Thank you.
Thanks.
This game's got to win for sure.
Yeah,
right?
It's got to run.
Yeah,
it's
it
got to
has
win
to
something.
win.
If it doesn't,
Conclusion.
It's going to win that category, isn't it? You got to say, whether you agree with it or not. I think it was so released at the exactly right time when everyone went into lockdown, and then was like, "Fuck, what do we do? Oh, we'll buy this Nintendo Switch game called Animal Crossing and all play it." And then after a few weeks, stop playing. Not everyone,
can
obviously.
imagine a family like mother, father, 2 kids sitting on a couch and being genuinely happy and relaxed playing the other games.
What I would say
Fall
is,
Guys is a horrible game. That's like anxiety.
Yeah,
What am I calling anxiety?
Or
oh,
Crash
but it's
Bandicoot.
very competitive. Like you'll sit there and go, "You ever go
I hate
to win?" And then you hand the controller over. But no, what I would say with Animal Crossing, I bought my wife a Switch Lite and Animal Crossing, and I bought myself Animal Crossing, which I very much regret having 2 copies of that game. But never mind, it's done, and I don't have to think about it anymore. But
Actually,
there we go.
You bring up a good point, Dan. So the one thing that I was thinking about is where are the couch co-op games? Mario Kart Live, I think, is the only thing that could potentially be a couch co-op game.
To be fair, if it
it
wasn't
is,
nobody owns
it
that
is a
game.
family game, right?
Nobody owns that game. Nobody's purchased it.
Matt, to be fair, if it wasn't so expensive, if point of entry wasn't so expensive, I would give it to Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. It looks amazing, but it's a lot of money to get in, and I don't actually know anyone who owns it.
I don't know why they added Paper Mario.
I would have played Mario Kart Home Circuit. You could just load up Mario Kart 8 or whatever.
Because the whole point is, I think it's awesome, and I can't wait to do this. I probably will buy it when it's discounted, because the idea that you, as your children, can set up your own Mario Kart track in your home, and then race it around, and you can watch them race around while people are playing on. It's awesome. Well, it's very cool.
I'm currently looking at my apartment right now. That track is going to take 5 seconds to fucking clear. I'm telling you right
sadly,
now.
sadly,
What's the
Evan,
point?
it's not really potentially for very small space. You need a big space. I get that.
Sony doesn't care about Japan anymore. Nintendo doesn't care about Japan. Well, I might as well move back to the States where I can buy a PlayStation 5.
It's like when a kid sets up his Scalextrics on your living room floor.
Yeah.
And it's cool at first, but then after a while, the parents are like, "I wish you'd fucking put this away."
Oh yeah, no, I get that, but I think
it looks cool. It really.
You know
looks
what
cool,
I think it might do? Depending if I think it might sell well at Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I think what they should have done was held up. They shouldn't have released it. They should have released it for just before Black Friday and released it for Christmas as the Christmas item.
Strong.
And I think because it might miss it because it's been out already, but I think it would have sold well as a Christmas gift.
I think it'll
Maybe
probably
it
still
come
sell
out in
well at Christmas because
it might do.
Yeah, I mean that's the type of gift you want to open up as a kid.
I didn't.
Oh, Christmas morning, fucking setting the track up. That is totally a Christmas morning.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be
awesome.
awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think in this case, it'll probably be New Horizons that win this category.
Fair enough.
The thing is, I thought it was going
drunk driving.
Out, but it didn't. You can still
drunk driving.
So I imagine if it will be a different case this holiday season, if it's going to sell out and fly off the shelves. But
I just think it's very expensive. That's my only worry. Actually, to get 2 cars, you're talking about like almost 200 quid.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, a bit. I don't think it's that expensive. I can see what it costs.
It's £95 for the starter, and then you've got to buy the Luigi, which is another 65.
I mean, it should have
Unless
been
it's
like
been discounted.
Quid for Luigi.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's a big entry cost, which is the problem.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what Paper Mario does in there.
Oh yeah. I'm very confused.
It's Mario.
A family game. We're not
They
going to
just
play
shove
together.
it with Nintendo games. They can't. They can't fill it, right? So they gotta.
One member of the family plays the game, and the other one does origami.
They watch on the screen.
Solve the puzzles.
Yells at the person like, "You're doing it! No, spin it the other way." It's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. All right. Family game of 2020 goes to Animal Crossing Home Circuit / Mario Kart Live New Horizons. How many categories do you guys want to tackle?
Action adventure, I would like to do.
Sure. All right, let's go. Action adventure games. Who wants to read it off?
It's the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order,
It
and
missed
The
last
Last
year.
of Us Part 2.
It missed last year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, good. It's getting its due now. That is really weird how that works out.
Is it though?
I don't know.
Is it getting its due?
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah.
That's tough for me. It's between two for me.
Oh, what do you got, Dan?
It's between Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima,
Who else? What is everyone else thinking?
but I'm not sure.
I would tend to agree
Even
with
though
that.
I didn't play it, I think it's a clean win for The Last of Us Part 2, only because I've watched a ton of videos and the moment-to-moment action is fantastic. I don't think the other games deliver in that department as well as The Last of Us Part 2 does. Like I've seen, for instance, I've seen a sequence where like the character slides behind this desk and then throws something at an enemy, and like it's so fluid, and all the animations and everything.
is.
Like you can tackle all situations like in so many ways, and yeah, it's great action. It's exactly what the category says.
I basically think any category that The Last of Us Part 2's in, all of the other games are going to have a hard time beating it, with the exception of one. Like, so yeah, I think that one's a bit of a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the other games and they don't really do things different from games in the past. But like The Last of Us introduces this crazy choreography that like there are no blind spots. Like you can manage yourself in any situation. You just need to be quick to react. You know, like it doesn't matter someone comes from behind you, or they shoot at you, or they throw something at you. Like in every single moment you can do something to defend yourself. And
Yeah, there's been some battles in that game where I got by the
Your teeth.
skin of my teeth. Yeah, it was like just amazing. It's very specific to my experience in the game, and
So
yeah, it's one of those things where like, well, okay, so The Last of Us fan number one, Burkoff.
Oh yeah,
What do you
love this? Series.
Everyone says part two. What are you thinking?
All right, so the only game that I have installed on my hard drive right now is Star Wars Fallen Order.
Old hat. Last year, mate. Been it. Come on.
But it's so I haven't played.
It's stuck in limbo. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in terms of awards. It can't get anything.
I haven't played any of these, but yeah, I have that one installed. And if I were to own a PlayStation 5, Miles Morales would be on it, right? Like that would be a game that I would own.
I thought you were about to say, by virtue of Fallen Order being installed on your system, it would be the award.
No, but for me, it's got to be one of those two.
Okay. All right.
What would be because I think it would be an interesting conversation. What would be the runner-up? Because it's so clear that The Last of Us is going to take it. Like if you were to choose a runner-up.
Honestly, I don't know what Ori is doing on this. I don't feel like that's best action adventure material.
That's like
that's a good
best indie
that's
game.
a good argument.
For me, it's Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I even think for like Last of Us Part 2, I loved the story and being immersed in the world, but I think I'm enjoying the playing and the adventuring on Ghost of Tsushima a bit more. I just think just like discovering random shit, like all of a sudden, I don't know, I don't know. It's tough for me. Both are great games. I've enjoyed them both, but
it swings back and forth.
Yeah, swings back and forth depending how I'm looking at the word action adventure for me.
Taps. What do you got?
Yeah, I'd agree. Like Ghost of Tsushima would be running Last of Us quite close, just for this category, because I think the main thing I loved about The Last of Us was more the narrative side of thing.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Graphical fidelity, all that good stuff, like the cinematic kind of experience. If you're taking that out of it as an action, and the word adventure, really,
actually exploring like this giant area,
yeah, like Ghost of Tsushima definitely, in my opinion, kind of done that side of things better. So I would put that as a runner-up or on par with it. I enjoyed Star Wars, I'm enjoying Spider-Man, and Valhalla's I'm enjoying the setting of, but I think those two kind of just stand above the rest.
Yeah, me too.
I think The Last of Us probably wins more awards in other categories, and maybe they
Yeah.
give this to Ghost of Tsushima.
Throw it a
That's what I
bone.
was thinking.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
I was thinking that the category that Ghost of Tsushima would win would be best graphic design, I think it is, or something like that.
Okay.
Like that's the one place the game clearly exceeds is in art direction, like over the
Yeah,
Last of
true.
Us. Yeah.
Gonna win at least one. Ooh, I mean, what do we do? What do we do here? We have to move on, but there's no clear winner.
Do you guys want to do best role-playing game?
Yeah, we did skip over that.
All right, yeah, let's move on. No clear winner here, so role
I
playing.
think it probably Last of Us 2 just
Yeah,
probably, but
okay.
I think
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima is probably. I think they should win this category because I think Last of Us 2 is going to win all the rest. Personally, I think it should. But it did.
All right, best role playing. Liam, you want to read them
Final
off?
Fantasy VII
It's
Remake. Breath
Guess
of
what?
the
I know what Liam's gonna say.
Oh yeah.
State your case.
Well, we gotta read.
sorry,
We gotta
does
read off the
somebody
nominees.
reading
first.
them?
Oh, sorry.
It's
That's right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royale, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Ooh, touch.
Not played any of them.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's very rare that I've not got some sort of RPG.
I've played 2.
So I
touched
weirdly
anything.
have like respect for every single game on this list.
Hmm.
I want to eventually play all of these, although I've just played Final Fantasy and Persona.
Yeah. For some reason,
I've,
I'm drawn to Wasteland 3 the most. I don't know why.
Wasteland 3, worth playing.
That looks
I've really enjoyed it. For a
freaking
role-playing game, I'm really enjoying
I
it.
sold my Xbox.
I'm playing it on PC Game
as
Pass.
it came out. So
Yeah,
Need
Wasteland
to play
3
Wasteland 2.
is on my list, but I can't get into that game because of the fact that it's post-apocalyptic. Like, it just seems so drab. I haven't been drawn to.
It's quite
You
drab.
play The Last of Us
To be
Part
fair,
2,
it's quite
mate.
drab, and
But I haven't
I'm
played that
enjoying the
either.
role-playing aspect. I'm enjoying the role-playing aspect of it, but yeah, the world's quite hard to like get into. I can see that.
Especially this year, like that kind of environment. I just,
those.
I don't want to escape to that. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah.
Get me back there.
And then the other game I've played actually it's quite funny really because my brother was playing Genshin Impact because at world level 16 we could play together online. So I ground through and got to world level 16 to then discover, unlike a lot of other games, because he's in the US and I'm in Europe, we can't play together, which really pissed me off because all the servers are completely separate and there's
Free
no
to play,
crossover.
baby. That's what you get.
So
Can you choose
yeah.
a server on console or is it
no.
locked?
So basically, what we realized is if he had started playing on his UK PSN, it would have been fine. But he was playing on his US PSN, and that's where it all went wrong. So his US PSN logged him into the US servers, and he can't change servers. We've looked it up. It says everywhere.
Strange.
And the same with like Asia. So Asia's different to Europe. That's different to America. I looked it up.
So what
you
you're
can't play
saying
together.
is, me and you, Dan, can't play with Matt, and we can't play
No.
with Evan.
No,
Right.
exactly.
Weird.
Well, they need
Which
to
is
get UK
ridiculous.
accounts, as far as I'm concerned. They're outnumbered.
But
Yeah,
actually,
that's a good point.
gameplay-wise, I've really enjoyed it. It's a bit silly and it's a bit, I don't know, a bit hack and slashy, but I've enjoyed it actually, and all the character models are fun, and I didn't feel like I had to spend any money in it to get my full out of it for a game that is like free-to-play microtransactions. I've got everything I've wanted without having to spend any money, and I was nodding along, and I got to and I would have probably carried on, but I was kind of playing it so I could play it with my brother with like on downtime, that kind of game, and then we hit that little problem, so I probably won't go back to it now. But no, I did enjoy it.
I forgot to re-download it. I wonder if it does like 60 frames or something. Because that would be a blast to play on now.
It's a very good looking game as well.
Yeah,
Like the cartoony art style is quite nice.
Yeah, it's very compact in the sense that there's not much clipping, not much weird blending between
No.
textures and all this. Or like you can feel like you anywhere you look, like the objects like have very well defined physical limitation. It's nice to look everywhere, even the characters, because there are some characters that do. Even Breath of the Wild, you look at the type of cell shading it does, and it's like really muddy. It's not precise at all. But this is very very clean. So they achieve some really
Yeah,
nice
it is
things
much cleaner.
graphically.
But
I think like if Genshin Impact would win this section would be simply because it was this it would be due to its popularity and the fact that it's free and offers such great content for like it's really impressive. Like it's rare that we get these free to play games that are so generous, right? um
yeah, you can
it's
play. Like I played for about 16 to 20 hours of that game, and I feel
yeah,
so. And I haven't paid a penny. So actually, like me walking around after that amount of time, I don't feel like I've wasted my time. I enjoyed
it
my
feels
time
good
with the game.
exploring and
It
finding
was
out
fun to explore, but I was
knowledge.
kind of doing it so we could play with other people, and I can't do that now. I'm not going to carry on with it. But it kind of gave me a bit of my slight WoW addiction back, because that's in the back of my mind. I avoid playing WoW, but it's there, that fetchy quest, like, oh, let's get
Shadowlands is
what
coming
treasure
down.
I can get. I know Shadowlands is coming. Don't tell me. I'd uninstalled the Blizzard client, so it stops me from re-signing up after bloody WoW Classic last year, where I became addicted to WoW Classic, and then ended up buying the subscription to then play my old WoW account again, and I was just down the rabbit hole. And
Good
after
man.
Jesus.
I think after about 2 weeks of getting back into like 6 hours a night, I was like, I can't do this. I've got a wife. Or I think at that point she was my fiance, but I was like, this isn't healthy.
Plus one.
I have to park this obsession again. But it is
Yeah.
there. So any game that kind of scratches that itch for me, I'll give it a bit of time before I realize, nope, I have to move away from it again.
I think the one game that we haven't talked about, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I personally have avoided that game. But
Me too.
Yes.
but I think
Yes.
I think it has the most chance of winning just because of how well it did financially and critically.
Yeah.
Well, I actually, it kind of hurts me a little bit to have Persona 5 Royale and Final Fantasy Remake both in the same category.
Yeah, but Persona
Yeah.
5 Persona 5 Royale is basically the same game with some extra dungeons and shit.
It is, but I never played the original, so
Yeah.
it was the first time experience for me.
I actually voted for Persona 5 Royal because from what Liam said about the game,
Water.
and what I know about it, like it was a personal choice. It sounds really interesting, and I'm really eager to play it at some point. I think those games are great.
Was like
Well-
Persona 5 is like a really fulfilling experience. All of the characters are super likable and the gameplay is pretty fun. But then Final Fantasy 7 was just like this freaking nostalgia wave that just hit me like a freaking dump truck. Freaking loved it.
So Tooms, although you platinum Persona 5, you spent 160 hours on it. You're inching towards Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
Only slightly because of the fact that Persona 5 released back in 2016 and I never played it then. I don't know.
Fair
it feels
enough.
kind of wrong to vote for it this year. I don't know.
Like it gets to be part of the awards for 2 years. Yeah, that
Yeah,
seems
exactly.
like I get that.
Overall, though, it is the better game, though, I would say. Like,
All right, so the RPG 2020 award goes to Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
Of course it does.
Only a Series
no,
X game.
Yeah, I'll just quickly. I liked Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have several issues with the combat, but once I turned Barrett into a tank, it kind of changed how I played that game strategically, and I enjoyed being Barrett as this tank that a tank healer, where I would manage everyone else by all of the attacks and then just healing when I needed to and firing from afar, and that really helped me with the game because oh, that sewer section is so bad. It actually lowers my feeling on that game like a full grade or a full star, however you.
Parenthesis, slave on hard mode.
No, I didn't. I did not play on
Did you
hard
not?
mode.
You
I did
switched
not.
back to
No.
normal?
Wow.
I think I just played
You
straight
told
on.
us you played on hard. Sure, you played on hard.
I did.
Yeah.
I never. I would never lie about playing on a difficulty level. I must have. No, I played on hard mode after I beat the game, and then I realized it's
okay.
too hard, so I stopped playing it. I did that.
Okay.
But
I thought the sewer section was a piece of piss.
well, when that little gross rat baby steals your key.
Oh, well, I mean, that was annoying the way you kept running away.
Oh, oh my, that section is, it's so bad. Like, I don't get, like, you look at the game, like, okay, like, forest through the trees, like, oh, yeah, that section sucks. Like, cut it like it's a column in fucking Excel. Like, delete, shorten, like, get on with it. Yeah, I mean, that game is great, but
like,
it's bad in a lot of ways, I think.
I feel like areas of games that other people dislike, I always get on quite well with, like Blight Town and Dark Souls.
Well, I'm sorry, Liam, that you're so good at video games that it doesn't bother you, but guess what? Most of us plebs have hard times with these things.
Don't worry, Evan. You're far better at video games than I am.
No, don't worry. I was watching Liam struggle last night.
No,
he was doing quite well actually. It was quite enjoyable watching someone be able to kill some things because I think I would have died straight away. So it was quite nice watching Liam play Dark Souls in the new PlayStation 5 function, which works very well. I don't know what it's called though.
I would actually
sharing function.
I would love to watch you guys play video games and vice versa on that. Once I get my fucking PlayStation 5 through all these.
It's really
raffles.
nice. It kind of like, for instance, if like there was like you guys are playing Warzone in the future, Liam, I could watch your screen while waiting to join your game. It gives me like, otherwise I just sit there like looking at the loading screen waiting for you to like end the game. It just adds a bit more like I don't know. Better.
Yeah. I've been really, really impressed by some of the communicative features on the PS5. Like me and Dan were doing like picture-in-picture yesterday. It was really cool.
All right. I will forego my talk about how great Yakuza is for probably a year-end discussion that we'll probably have sometime in mid to end December.
Yeah.
I think it wins this. I haven't played Persona 5 yet, so maybe there'd be a battle there. But I think Yakuza Like a Dragon is way better than Final Fantasy.
You might as well just declare it, Evan. Just declare it.
Yeah, the award, like I said, the award goes to Yakuza Like a Dragon. All right, we need to start making some very executive decisions here. Otherwise, this
should we just do narrative and then game of the year?
Yeah, I do want to point out best action though. So I don't know why they have two separate categories. They have best action adventure and best action game, but Streets of Rage 4 is on best action, but it's up against Hades, which has gotten crazy critical acclaim this year. I would probably go for Streets of Rage 4 personally, but I don't know.
Bring the brawler back; it deserves it.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have played Hades.
I've played Hades, played Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Streets of. Anyone plays Neo, and Hades is really good. I'm not quite convinced where these ultra high scores are coming from. Like the average is super high. It's a really good game, but I can't.
I've heard nothing but great things about it on all the podcasts in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean the fact that it's a roguelite or roguelike, whatever you want to call it, is going to turn some people off because that type of game. It's the first one I've really kind of delved into, and it was a pain to kind of get my head around. I'm going to have to keep doing this same kind of stuff over and over again with a different flavour on it. The action's pretty good, but I think it kind of runs out on wears thin. Streets of Rage 4 was great. Half-Life Alyx, I think the action's the worst part of that game. I don't know what that's doing in there. It's clumsy VR. Like, it's fun for a little while, but after a while, it's really aggravating having to literally crouch to avoid getting killed immediately and roaring around.
Yeah, I think you should have swapped it with Ori.
Yeah. And to be honest, best action game for me is that list is Doom Eternal. That is so sick to play. It's just insanely fun to play. Out of all those, I would put my hat on Doom Eternal.
Otaps, as somebody that has played Half-Life Alyx, which seems to be quite a rare quantity,
Yeah.
Do you think that it's overrated based on the review scores?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely getting a bump because it's a VR. It's a really well done VR game, perhaps the best. But I have to caveat that by saying that I've come to the conclusion that I don't really enjoy VR as a platform to play games. It's not, I like to be comfortable, and this game, any VR game, is for a certain, it's just not comfortable to put a fucking headset on.
Yeah,
So
that's the same problem I had with the Wii.
Yeah, that's what soured me on it, and it was exhausting to play. But I can see where people are kind of coming from, but I think it could be done just as well. It could be done just as well as a kind of a traditional experience as well.
I feel like it's being thrown into these categories because it's in a few others too. Just because it's Valve.
It's
definitely that is part of it. I think
part of the best part of the action is reloading the guns and fiddling with that. Like the actual shooting, you point and you shoot. Like it's not going to change your life. Like if you've played a first-person shooter in VR, this is the same. But the bigger impact for me on Half-Life Alyx was that it's Half-Life. Like, I think that's getting a lot of critical acclaim because Half-Life is potentially coming back. Maybe we get Half-Life 3 down the line. This is like a gateway to that.
It's never going to happen.
That is a gateway drug I will fully
accept. They'll come out with Half-Life 4 before they do 3.
They'll just say this one was 3 and skip to 4.
Half-Life 3 VR only.
The award goes to the 2020 Action Game Award goes to Doom Eternal and Streets of Rage 4 in a very rare
tie,
double gold medal and a tie. Sorry, I got PlayStation trophies on the mind here.
A blast from the past.
A blast from the past. All right, what are we doing? Narrative and
then narrative and then best.
Touch on anything? Okay.
Yeah.
What about best performance? Does anybody want to talk about that? Although, isn't it just a foregone conclusion anyway?
Yeah, I think that's going to go to Last of Us 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who in Last of Us 2, but
having played Hades, I'm surprised they've gone for Logan Cunningham, who plays Hades. Like the guy who plays Zagreus, who you play through, is far better.
Oh, dude, he's done so many freaking voices for Supergiant. It's ridiculous.
Does about 4 in this game, but the Zagreus character, he's excellent.
There's a doc that a developer doc that they did where he goes through his whole history with Supergiant games. He's done like 20 or 30 characters for like all their different games. It's insane. Yeah. Excellent voice actor for sure.
Last of Us has 2 nominations. So
it's whether you think Abby was better than Ellie, basically.
Yeah,
Ellie was still really good.
No, I'm not saying Abby was better than her. I'm saying it depends who you think was better, Ellie or Abby.
Yeah.
They're probably I don't know.
I just realised I can't vote for Jin because I played it in Japanese voiceover, so I have no idea.
Otaps, the Japanese voice actor, is really, really good. So
okay, he sounded like he was doing a good job, but it's hard.
Actually, I played it in Japanese too. No.
Yes, it's very good.
I played it in Japanese for half the game, and then it pissed me off, so I couldn't bother to read the subtitles anymore.
Well, the lip syncing wasn't done.
I put it in voiceover, and it was much easier. Yeah. That's me as a dyslexic, not because I did enjoy the Japanese, but I just got tired of reading subtitles.
How dare you? I watch all my movies in subtitles.
Even if they're in English.
I'm just kidding. All right, so maybe Laura Bailey or Ashley, what's her name?
Yeah.
Ashley Johnson?
One of those two. I don't know who they'll give it to.
Laura Bailey is a really freaking good voice actor. I've come to realise this over the last few years. I hear her in things and I never know it's her.
Was she quiet as well in MGS5?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she's a good actor for sure.
I would give it to Laura Bailey because she got fucking abused.
Yeah, she did actually. I give it to her as well.
Very good.
She had a really hard go.
It's a shame as well because she totally doesn't deserve it.
No, did she do the performance capture on Quiet when she was like dancing in the rain? That's absolutely ridiculous. this fucking scene. What a Jesus Christ! Like
The character was
Japanese
kind of
games.
ridiculous, but that's every
That
Metal Gear
was
Solid
awkward.
character.
That was
You guys will
Kojima's
be-
assistant
once you
was
know
doing
the
motion
truth.
capture for that.
Where's the camera? Once you know the truth, you'll be ashamed that you even said anything about Quiet.
I just
that
don't
famous-
understand. I don't really understand the criticism.
Famous last words.
But there we go. I still don't
All right,
to this day.
narrative. Narrative 2020.
Let's
It's
do
13. Oh, sorry.
Last of
13
Us.
Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2.
For me, Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah,
No
me too,
question.
easily.
What the hell is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim?
That's the
it's a game from Vanillaware.
Vanillaware game. The guys that did the team that did like Muramasa, Demon Blade, and Dragon's Crown.
I
Okay.
love that game. I love that studio. I cannot wait to pick this up at some point.
It's on
Same
sale
here.
for 30 quid right now.
It doesn't
I've heard
have
good
any
things about it.
what they've done in the past. It's more of a visual novel, but I know it has some tactical gameplay in it. But they write really great stories, and I really recommend them. And yeah, they do solid games.
I heard really good things about the story here, like the person-to-person conversation, and like the relationship between the characters being like believable, and they sound like teenagers. It's not a Life is Strange season or part 1 type of deal, and
Coming in hot.
which I like. I like Life is Strange, by the way, but fuck your selfie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm Rafa.
That was
I
awful.
would like to play this game at some point. I didn't know how I felt about it being like basically an Evangelion type of game, but it sounds like all the reviewers said the story is really good, which is what the category is.
I literally almost bought it yesterday. It was
Really?
a toss-up
You said
between
30
this
quid,
and-
yeah?
Yeah, because both Aegis Rim and Tony Hawk were both going for 30 quid on PS. They're still 30 quid on PSN from the Black
bad-
Yeah,
Friday
till the
sale.
1st December.
Yeah, and
Till the 1st
it was a
December.
toss-up between those two games, and I went for Tony Hawk because I
30 or
didn't have any
30?
game like it. Yeah.
Just quickly, Hades has a really good narrative as well. Like that's one of the strong points of the game. Like you wouldn't, or maybe you would expect it if you enjoy Supergiant games, but
so if you don't like the genre, whenever you die, you actually advance the plot.
yeah,
Which
so yeah, it really like it's one of the
Doesn't
few
make
games like, and Last of Us 2 does this really well. Like you couldn't really work it into another medium. Like it's designed around the gameplay and your progress and your failures and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Hades is a great little story. Well, not little because it's quite a long game if you're shit like me.
Right. I think it's great how they they do a great job weaving into the story, explaining why it's a roguelike in the story itself.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I have actually not played this game, but one of the guys I work with has spent hours upon hours playing it. So he's explained to me how the story works and how
Exactly that.
you're trying to escape Hades, and like just depending on what you do, all the characters react in different ways. Like the script to this game must be at least 1/16 of the script of Cyberpunk 2077, which is a lot, by the way, if we're trying to compare it to that. And I just heard like the lines of dialogue, depending on what you do, is quite impressive.
Yeah,
And I can tell how much this guy loves this game, so it seems like quite an interesting narrative.
Well, it's
Yeah.
funny. Nothing anybody's said so far has convinced me that I need that game until now. Like the fact that it's like some sort of Groundhog Day that integrates story into its concept. That
Yeah.
makes me want to buy it.
Yeah.
It basically explains why it's a roguelike, and it's like a believable story. Like, oh, okay, this is why it keeps happening. It's not just don't think about it. It's more of like the structure of the game.
Yeah,
It's not
it's-
part of the story per se.
it doesn't just reset you to a checkpoint, it continues the narrative. And I think if and when it comes to consoles, it will have like another resurgence as more people can play it, because it's kind of on the Switch, which is a great platform, and on PC. But I think there'll be a lot of people that are going to enjoy that when it comes to consoles.
Yeah.
Cool.
Ghost of Tsushima has a good story, but it is very basic. It's a tale of revenge. What the highlight of that game in terms of story are the side narratives with like Ishikawa Sensei and like the main 4 or 5 side stories, which all have great story arcs, way better than the main game.
Yes.
So if you
Yeah,
hold the story
agreed.
to
The side
the-
quests are better, I
it
think,
was
than the main story.
way better. Well, I mean, it's very simple. Like kill the Khan and avenge your family. Like that's it. That's all the story is.
Yeah.
But the story
Yeah.
arcs for the side quests are really, really good. Final Fantasy VII is Final Fantasy VII. If you played that, you know the story. It's good, but it's a remake. I don't know why
I
that's even
mean,
in here.
it does a really, really good job of fleshing out the characters, and
That is a good point.
yeah,
That is a
like
good
I
point.
mean,
It really
there's
does.
only so much story you can tell in a sort of game from 1996, Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, it makes Cloud an exceedingly likable character, which
That is a good
think
point,
most
Liam.
people didn't think. Yeah. He's just a far more, I guess, satisfying character to play in this game.
Well, he's more fleshed out. Yeah, he's like a jaded kind of a-hole that you can see his character art starting to be a bit more of a.
Yeah, even though
yeah.
he's the toughest guy out of the bunch, it's sort of like he's the most sort of, I guess, the one that needs to be looked after in some sort of weird way.
Yeah, he keeps people at a distance, and then like blah 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 blah. Yeah, they do flesh out people, and you do want to see what happens. Like, oh, okay, this wasn't in the first game. How are they going to keep this going? And it's not half-assed. Like they really worked towards making.
You can tell the developers really care about the characters.
Like the side quest stuff with Tifa, where you walk around the slums, and especially with Aerith, or what's I always get confused. Is it Aerith?
Yeah, Aerith is
Aerith.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oof, better turn my gamer card in right now. Get off this podcast. But yeah, that stuff is cool. I love how like when she almost falls, she's like in the slum. She's like, oh shit, like just little things like that. Like oh she said shit, like that type of thing. It's it's good. It's good. It's got its high points. To be fair. All right, narrative 2020, Last of Us Part 2, Game of the Year.
Game of the
Just a
year.
second. Are we really skipping the art direction category?
Best game direction.
No, I'll let you pick, Rafa. I'm not bothered.
We should touch on art direction. I mean, we do have an artist with us.
True.
All right, you get to pick the winner of this category, Rafa. Solely you.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about it for a bit. I went with. It was difficult. I went with Ori because.
Ooh.
It is a beautiful game.
Really beautiful.
I'm not personally I'm not considering Final Fantasy and The Last of Us like technical marvels, but I think for me personally I'm more impressed by stylized graphics where you don't aim for photorealism, because for photorealism you've got references everywhere. It's hard to achieve, but it's harder on the effort is most of the time on the technical aspect, right?
It's more creative if you do an art style that's not got references.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I heard that the developers had to look at a lot of gore to know what they were doing, so that was like really stressful for them. Like if you don't have the stomach for that, and some didn't. They received counseling and stuff like that too. Okay, and so yeah, I looked at Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Ori, and to me the most impressive was Ori because it does it has 2D and then it has 3D and it has 3D animation, it has 2D animation. Hades is again really impressive because it maintains that graphical art style across the whole game, but it's a one note thing, which is why I didn't pick it. And as for Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, the vistas are really impressive, but for the most part, why it's pretty to look at is because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the objects in the game, they don't have they don't I don't want to get technical. It's just the flat colors. That's why it looks so clean and pretty to look at. So I think that's not really that impressive to achieve. It's again just like Hades, one note. But yeah, like free great looking games. Like it's great to look at. So it's great picks for this category. But
So
yeah, I went with.
I would agree with Rafa
Ori.
on Ori.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that Ghost of Tsushima is probably going to win at the actual
Yeah, I
awards.
think Ghost
Yeah,
of
I
Tsushima
think
will
so.
win.
The only reason I say that is how much of the style is built into or how much of the HUD is built into the style of the game. I think.
Yeah, you have a good point. You make a good point. Yeah, that's also what they've done. They've done great in that game.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
For the game of the year, I assume we are going to be doing our own game of the year episode with
Yes.
instead of saying what we think is going to win, instead of saying what we think we want to win, should we say what we think is going to win? What do you think the Games Awards will vote for in this category? Because mine's different in that scenario.
Cyberpunk.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's
It's after
next
the
year.
10th of December.
Oh, it's 2021,
that's-
is it?
Yeah.
Forgot the calendar
that's-
was
That's
wrong.
Fallen Order territory, bud.
Just go, this isn't a democracy anymore.
So the list,
The Game
the
Awards.
list of the Game Awards.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, as co-op co-host, 4 of 6,
Yeah.
I officially apologize to Rafa. We have a professional artist and graphic designer on the episode, and we just fucking decided to skip over art direction until he said something. So
That's true, actually. Yeah, that's poor from us.
So,
yeah.
Get that on
Liam,
Steam. I'll
mistake
tell you
we
that
will
would
not
you
make
give us-
again.
Liam, would you read us the list of what the Game of the Awards have nominated for their
Sure.
Game of the Year?
For Game of the Year, you've got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2.
So what I think they will pick as the winner, and I might be completely wrong here, is Animal Crossing New Horizons. I think that's what the Game Awards. That's what I think the Game Awards will give it to.
I don't think they're going to pick that, but I did tweet out that I think that it's a viable option for this year.
If all the Nintendo fanboys come out and be like, I was playing something else all year, but I want a Nintendo game to win. Then I could see it winning. But I think the clear winner is The Last of Us Part 2.
If it's just based on votes, I don't think anything else has big enough of an audience to win.
I think people will carpet bomb the voting though, because the hatred for that game is still quite vibrant, and people will go on and vote for anything but that to make it not win. So that's why I think Animal Crossing will win.
True, but I don't think those people would vote for Animal Crossing. They'd probably vote for something like Ghost of Tsushima or Doom Eternal.
Maybe.
I was gonna say Hades. I think has a chance.
Outside chance.
Yeah, it has an outside chance just because
outside chance.
It's a newer game. You still have the critic panels, right? So
I would. That's true, but I would agree with you if that game was out on more platforms other than PC and Switch.
It's a good point.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be anything but The Last of Us Part 2. I think so too. I don't think it's going to be Doom Eternal. I don't think it's going to be Final Fantasy. I don't think it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima. I think it actually would come down to Hades or Animal Crossing.
Which is fucking crazy to think about. You know,
I'm not saying it's right.
You just zoomed out, right? Those two things.
The Last of Us Part 2 will fuel the votes for any of the other picks, which...
Yep.
I feel like...
Petty, but true, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Last of Us Part 2 is going to take quite a few other categories.
Yeah.
Sure. It's nominated the most, right?
Yeah, it has the most nominations. So I feel like it'll pick
up...
But
like all those people, no one's going to... We'll give them the other awards, but... This means that they're voting, by the way. We're not going to let it get Game of the Year.
For the haters. Here's something
Evan is, for our audio listeners, pretending to type on a keyboard with
It's-
arms stretched out.
Yeah.
And that's how people use
with only with index fingers, by the way.
only with index fingers.
Here's something for the haters. Like if they hate Naughty Dog, they should also hate Sony. And Sony has how many nominations? Like 22, 24? It was the most
Yeah, it's the most.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
it's the only publisher that released anything of any note this year.
No, like,
That's
for
why.
if they want to hurt someone, it should be Sony, and their efforts should be towards.
You know what I'm sad
Sony not
is
win.
hasn't been nominated for anything. Pikmin 3 remake or port. That was I finished that. I had great fun with that game. It's the most fun I've had with this Nintendo game for a good few years. It was good fun. I played it all the way through without getting bored and not going back to it. Just long enough to enjoy it, not too long that I could move on to something else.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed Pikmin 3. It was nice to go back to that world.
I'm actually I'm disappointed.
It looks like a stressful game.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that Star Wars Squadrons didn't get nominated for anything more than best VR.
Yeah, me too. Because I think
Even
it
then,
should be
it's going to get
multiplayer.
stomped by Half-Life. So
Should have been on the
Oh,
multiplayer
yeah,
list, I think.
abused by
Here's a
Half-Life.
question for all of you: if you could remove a game from, or even multiple games from the
Okay.
Game of the Year list, what would you add instead?
I don't know what I'd add. Doom Eternal I would remove
Yeah.
straight away.
That's gotta
Because
go,
even though I enjoyed it minute to minute, it got boring towards the end. It went on for too long and I got bored, I'll be honest. I enjoyed it for the first few many hours, but I didn't finish it. Am I going to finish it? Probably not. I'm not that bothered. And to me, that's not a game of the year.
Bloody hard at
uh,
the end. It gets harder and harder and harder.
It's not even that it got hard that I gave up. I gave up before it got hard. I just got bored of doing the same thing over and over again.
I would
yeah.
Eternal add Animal Crossing again.
It gets too
I
much.
don't think I would remove. So I would remove Doom Eternal, and what would I add?
I would add Jedi Fallen Order because I feel like.
Oh
that
yeah,
game
from last
deserves
year.
more.
I think it deserves to be Game of the Year. Yeah, true.
Too hard.
It's kind of a shame. Like,
Well, when you put it on hard, yeah, it is too hard. But
I
you know,
Just
drop it
for
down.
reference,
Drop it down
It's
to
good.
story
Like-
difficulty.
wasn't there like
Yeah.
4 or 5 difficulties on that?
Yeah.
I think I had it on the one below the top.
Jedi Master was the hardest one, wasn't it?
Yeah, whatever the one below that I had on there, and
I
it was
think-
difficult to start with.
Evan did it on
below
Jedi
was-
Master and got
Whoa.
pissed off.
Yeah.
That is the game's fault.
It's totally the game's fault. It's not my fault.
I'll tell you what.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
When I play it, whatever if it's like story or casual or whatever the lowest fucking setting possible is, that's what I'm setting it to, so just so I can enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. I
yeah,
tried to
do
be.
it.
I had to be a tough man with it, and it kind of. I didn't finish it. Did I finish it? I think I might have
I
finished it.
want to be a
I can't
Jedi
remember.
Master. I don't want to be.
Matt's got like a 10-second parry window. Like, you can't lose.
It's just
10-second barrier in there.
Oh, it's a good it's not too hard. It's just too frustrating. It ruins the game. But it really is a good game. It feels like a Star Wars game. Like the worlds are interesting. The way they do the Dark Souls thing, where you go through an area and then you find a ladder that enables you to connect you closer to a respawn point, so that the next time you die, the ladder's there and you don't have to go through the.
Well, it's very
section
Metroidvania,
that-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit labyrinthine in design. It's a beautiful game. The combat is good. Lots of cool moves. Yeah, it is a good game. I think that's a good addition to be fair. Who hasn't gone yet, and what they would remove, what they would put in?
I don't know.
Otevs.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I'd remove anything from there. I'm just scanning what I've played, because I don't really want to just say, oh, it should be that because I've not played it. But generally, I think, yeah, I'd tend to just leave that as it is. I mean, I enjoyed
Okay.
Jedi Fallen Order, and maybe because it's been a casualty of this stupid cut-off date, it should be in there. and then I would only take out Final Fantasy VII because I've not played it. But I don't think that's a terribly bad representation of the year in generally. Those sort of 6 games there. So I would, rather than ruffle feathers, I'll just leave it as it is and say, there you go, Jeff. You've done good.
You see, so I like the ruffle feathers, so I'd probably remove Animal Crossing as well and add Ori.
Oh, I loved Animal Crossing though, so I can't talk about family games. The only person in this household who didn't play it was the dog, and that's because he's not learned how to play the Switch yet, which is we're working.
Not yet.
Really?
Exactly. There will be a day.
Yeah,
that fucker will be chopping lettuce and overcooked.
Did all your family play it as well? Because obviously me and my wife played it. She still does. She logs on. She doesn't play daily, but she logs on and then does her little tasks, and she's happy.
The great thing is I can set my wife tasks up to collect a load of wood and resources for me to kind of do the big boy shit and build the village properly or the town. So
big boy shit.
She was.
Has any of you that played it jumped into the game on their birthday?
You get a little note, don't you, or a gift?
Because cool things happen when it's your birthday. Like they all gather together at the city hall. Like it happened because my fiance got her Switch and Animal Crossing right before her birthday, and that happened for her. It was back in April, and she started crying. She was so excited. She began crying. And I'm eager to see what I get as the present in the game, because they all come at you. And
I will log on Christmas Day, because I feel like I'll get a present on Christmas Day. It's that type of game that will give me something. So I will log on that day just to see, just because I'm curious.
Like so many little touches that they thought about it. It's what I like about this series, and I only briefly played it on the 3DS. I got it at some point on the 3DS just to see what it was about. But yeah, like I'm full in with this one, and it's like it gets attached to these next years. Like it's something you keep checking out throughout the time. Like it's a companion. It's a life companion. It's really interesting. Because it's so dependent on the passage of time, everything is slow. It's not a game you.
And I have like the support for it. So originally you could only just fish, and now you can dive in the sea.
Oh my
and
game of the year! Hey,
just,
did everyone hear that? You can dive in the sea. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Cool, man.
I know it's iterative. I'm not.
They didn't have
taking
to do
this.
that. That's all I mean. They didn't have to do that. They could have just said that's the
but
game.
It's kind of an ongoing game, yeah. But they keep adding these little things.
Yeah, true.
Right? Yeah.
Because now for Thanksgiving, you can actually from there you can have recipes and cook and yeah.
Have they stopped doing best ongoing game? Oh no, they've got one. Ignore me.
Yeah.
But Animal Crossing is nominated for that, I guess, because it came out this year.
Did you hear that, everyone? You can cook now. I'm just kidding. All right. That's done.
All right.
I think that might be it for today.
Yeah. So on that note, gentlemen, should we call it? Last of Us Part 2 takes everything that it's nominated in. It's just going to win all the awards.
Cut Doom Eternal and put in Yakuza Like a Dragon. It deserves to be on the Game of the Year list.
Honestly,
I have a hard time remembering what released this year and what would be worthy of being nominated, whatever. But yeah, like I could see Yakuza being there. Like, why not?
At the risk of possibly losing my childhood friend Charles, I'm going to remove Final Fantasy VII Remake and insert Star Wars Squadrons.
For Game of the Year, amazing.
$40 game, complete single-player story. You get multiplayer. Sure. They're dropping free updates.
I'm so happy they're supporting it. I need to keep on playing it, so they keep on doing that.
Microtransactions. Awesome. Like, this game should be...
We need to jump on again, Matt. Yeah. Because I enjoyed last time we played. Let's jump on again.
At the risk of just extending this slightly, I did want to ask you guys and get your thoughts about this awards ceremony. How much? What do we think of the actual game awards themselves? Do we put much credence in who wins Game of the Year? Given that there are games that are completely missed off because they're not come out in Jeff's sort of arbitrary date. Should they move it to next year? Just like because I tend to
I think it should be. I think the Game Awards should be
Yeah,
in
same.
January. My personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think they should be in January. The nominees should be done, and it should be done the first or second week in January, when all the games that have come out that previous year are counted.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that a game like Jedi Fallen Order, that actually was a very good game, has completely missed out on an award cycle because of this
And this
cycle.
goes back to 2013. Far Cry 3 got screwed that year.
Yeah,
Because it came out in December.
Well, 2014.
Yeah, it's just like
Talos
classic,
Principle got
like-
screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't played it, but I know enough about the game and about it being one of your favorite games that
feel like
it
a lot of
totally got
people-
overlooked.
I feel like a
Which
lot of
it's not
people-
fair.
I feel like a lot of people didn't play it because it came out in December and Game of the Year awards. had already
Yeah,
happened.
totally. Don't release a game in December unless you're Nintendo. They can do that. They always do that.
Maybe the award show is all about the advertising, the game
Oh, it is.
announcements.
Whoa,
Who
slow
would've
down,
thought?
bud. Slow
Slow
down.
Liam, come on. Don't burst that bubble just yet, buddy. Don't burst the bubble just yet.
It's a glorified
Yeah, like,
showcase for upcoming
yeah.
stuff.
It is,
That's
but-
It is.
It adds.
gives
It's
It,
a bit of fun. You get a couple of.
I mean, you only get the
world
celebrations of the
exclusives.
industry because Jeff Keighley does genuinely care about the industry as a whole.
yeah,
well, not that much that he'll put it in next year, but
Well, no,
Jeff-
but
Jeff-
he
Jeff Keighley.
probably can't
he wants
because
that
he'd get a
money.
bunch of advertisers to drop out.
No socks. No socks or low cut socks. I'm telling. Right. This is camera number one. Camera one. Right. No socks. I want to see it again. I want to see those ankles, bud. I want to see those lovely wide ankles.
And last thing before we go,
He loves his loafers, doesn't he, Jeff?
I apologize to Keith's back because apparently I brought back the curse.
It's okay, Rafa. You're forgiven. No one got drunk and had to be ejected
Go
from
in
the
peace.
episode.
yeah.
11
I'm not
circular.
nearly as pissed as I was on the Halloween episode. Which, if anybody's interested and want to watch something that's fairly entertaining,
I still haven't watched it.
that was a pretty good episode.
That was amazing. Everyone watch me in my mask. Please watch, please. It's great.
I
It
just want
comes,
to see Evan
it puts
dressed up
on
as Mario.
sporadically. My mask appears.
Yeah, that was a good one. I got to dress up as Mario. I guarantee next episode McWomble is going to start it by complaining that we didn't talk about Ghost of Tsushima too much,
And about
or
petting
as
foxes.
much as we should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his fault for not being there. I
Yeah.
haven't played it yet.
All right.
Hey, see what happens as part of the, being 4 of 6. What am I? Co-host 4 of 6. We can manage this. We don't need a host.
But we
don't need a
talked
host.
plenty about Ghost of Tsushima. We said it has
Small government, my friends.
And we did
need a host.
talk about Jeff Keighley's aversion to socks, which Keith has apparently dropped in the chat and wanted to know about. So
Okay, good.
we did mention
Good
it.
to know.
And on that note, gentlemen, I think we'll call it. It's been another good
It's
episode.
been fun.
Until next time. Until next week.
Thanks for coming,
Are you going?
Taps.
Are you going in the onsen? First. It's over. It's over.
She goes to the hotel now.
I don't
She goes to the bar.
Yeah, she's
Like
going to
steam room
the
or something.
she's going to the hotel onsen